Hi, I'm David Leach, COO of Engie Mescat. And first of all, I'd like to thank you all for your participation in the Electrical Safety Week. But let's just remember, we're not just talking about electrical safety for 1 week, we're talking about electrical safety for life. We've looked at the impact of when things go wrong with electrical systems, electrocution, electric shock, flashover. Clearly things which we all want to avoid. So let's just quickly recap where we've been over the last few days. Well, first of all, we met Mr. Amp. It would be nice to actually meet Mrs. Amps, but that's perhaps for another project. So let's just quickly reflect where we started from day one. We started off with the introduction. We looked at portable electrical equipment and all of the hazards that we saw with that. We looked at some wonderful examples of things coming back from the field with significant defects and errors. We then moved on, day two. What was Mr. Amps talking about? Safety from switchgear. We came up with a number of examples of where things have gone wrong, in some cases badly wrong, people seriously injured, and all of the consequences with that, and I'll come back to that in a moment. Then we move on to really one of the fundamental aspects of what we're trying to do, risk assessments. These are not just something to put in the file, this is an active, dynamic action of how we're trying to work to keep ourselves safe, think through things in a logical step. We then moved on to really what is absolutely a counterpart of electrical safety, which is providing good safety rules, making sure we've got our permits in place, giving our work teams safety from the system. And at times things do get complicated in this area when we're starting to get into the testing area. And finally, we finished off what was Mr. Amps getting concerned about, batteries. Batteries at the moment, key part of our existing power plant. As we move into the future, we're probably going to see a very different type of plant involving very large energy storage. And believe you me, we're going to hear a lot more about batteries in the future. So really just to sum up all of these 5 topics we've talked about, in a lot of cases, it's really just common sense. It's just thinking through what you're doing. And this takes me all the way back to when I was at school many, many years ago. And my woodwork teacher said to me, David, measure twice and cut once. Which is basically saying, think through what it is you want to do before you make that action. So how is that applicable to what we're talking about here? Well, in a lot of cases, if you're going to carry out some electrical activity, just work out in advance exactly what it is you're going to do, whether it's a maintenance activity or whether it's some sort of switching activity. Just think through, draw yourself a little diagram, work out perhaps a switching instruction, and if you find that you're coming up against some sort of interlock and you think, oh, I'm now going to have to remove this interlock or defeat this or remove this piece of protection or a piece of cladding, think very carefully about that, because that's where things, as we've seen in the past, can go horribly wrong. And certainly from my point of view, just going forward, do focus on trying to avoid leaving landmines and time bombs in plants for other people. And that means, for example, make sure everything is correctly labelled. Don't leave things unlabelled or half-guarded or something which is not really clear. And if you have got a padlock system with interlock systems, make sure that is working, that is robust. And if we can do all of these things, I'm sure we are going to improve electrical safety. So again, thank you for all of your engagement this week. It's been a great week and best of luck for the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, David. So for those that don't know me, my name is Mike Mosley. I'm the Chief Technical Officer responsible for the oversight of electrical support for the region and also health and safety. So rather than recapping what David has said and recapping the whole week once again, my role is to say thank you and to say quite a few thank yous across the region. So first of all, to you guys, thank you for your contribution, your engagement. It's been outstanding. The event has been outstanding. How do we know this? Well, a lot of you have been actively involved in the app. We have over, at the moment, on only day 3, we had over 800 photographs. From statistics, we also had 14,500 interactions on the app. And I'm sure by the end of the week those numbers will be significantly higher. So thank you, it's a wow, it really is interaction. You've been able to share your experiences, your quotes, your team photos, and your knowledge. And that's what it's about. That's what Mescat as a team is about, how we do this. So you've also achieved my goal. My goal was to refresh, reinvigorate, re-energise and refocus on these areas. So I think we've got a clear refocus on these. Everybody has had the daily opportunity to work in all these areas. It is really, really outstanding. So for me, the next step really is there's a lot of work and effort being put into this organisation from a lot of areas. So we'd like some feedback. Kartik will send out a note to get that feedback. What worked well? Maybe what didn't work well. We know there's some sound issues with videos and things. So what didn't work well? And do we want a similar event again? Or do we want something different? Your views will be appreciated. So finally, I'd like to thank Kartik and Andy. You know, they've coordinated this, they've organised this, they created Mr. Amps with support of the others, but also thanks to the COOs and the GMs and their managers across the sites, because without those people and their local sponsorship and their leadership, you wouldn't have had the activity that you had at your site. So that is important. Thank you to your management team as well. In summary, you know, if we implement continually and practice these areas that we've covered this week, then it's clear to me we have a safer business. But also we're very, very clearly on our way to operational excellence. And that is a key target for us as a business. We must, however, remember and always remember that electricity can kill. It can seriously hurt and harm quite a lot of us if we don't practice these activities. So complacency mustn't set in, and that's a word that I've used quite a few times over the past few days. Make sure complacency doesn't set in and keep it at the front of your mind, safety. So many thanks once again to Mr. Amps, our new team member. I hope you've enjoyed the week and the journey through the week. And these memories, I want you to take them with you, and I want you to practice them on a daily basis. Thank you.